News. Special Counsel. Jack Smith has filed an appeal in former President Donald Trump's classified documents case out of Florida. He is urging the 11th District Court of Appeals to reverse Judge Aileen Cannon's decision to dismiss the case last month. He argues his appointment to the case was legal and that proceedings should restart as soon as possible. For more on this, I want to bring in CBS News legal contributor and Loyola law professor Jessica Levinson. What is Jack Smith arguing? Jack Smith is arguing exactly as you said, the appointment was proper. Specifically, that Attorney General Merrick Garland had both the constitutional and statutory power to appoint him as the special counsel. Because that's the only reason the Judge Cannon dismissed the case when we talk about this case. The headline is the Mar-a-Lago case is dismissed. I think it's important for people to remember that dismissal had nothing to do with the merits of the case. The accusations contained in the case, it had everything to do with whether or not special counsel. Jack Smith had the power to move forward, meaning whether or not he was properly appointed to that position. I'm looking at this order right now. There are fancy words like appointments, clause. Can you remind us why Cannon ruled that Smith's appointment was unlawful? Absolutely. Judge Aileen Cannon, I believe this was mid-July, essentially said there was no statutory authority, no meaning congressional authorization, that allowed Merrick Garland to say, Jack Smith, you are appointed to be the special counsel and you can move forward with this case. The reason, and there's 81 pages here, the reason that Jack Smith's briefs starts with the Constitution is because it has to. The Constitution is the thing that gives Congress the power to say when it comes to certain members of our government, like the Attorney General, you have the power to appoint other people to carry out your duties. That's why we begin with deployment clause, and then we move on to what the specific statutory authority here is, Jack Smith. In this brief to the 11th Circuit spends, I think, dozens of pages saying here are the statutes that allow me to move forward. To your question, that undermines what Judge Aileen Cannon said, which is I don't see the federal law that allows your appointment go. Correct me if I'm wrong, but one of her big issues also was sort of the idea of limitless appropriation. Essentially, this office is funded by this fund that sort of doesn't have a bottom, if you will. From what you have been able to read from Smith's filing, and I know it just came out, so you're probably still reading through all of those 85 pages, did he delve into that at all? He did. There is an appropriation section. There's an appointment clause section. Also, an appropriation section. He does, of course, talk about the finding and why. In his view, it's not limitless, and why, in his view, it is well within the power that has been granted to Merrick Garland by Congress. One thing I do want to mention, of course, you're right. Thank you. I'm still quickly reading through, but if you look at the summary and the introduction and the conclusion, one of the things that Jack Smith keeps emphasizing is the idea of Judge Aileen Cannon is on an island, that we have, and he goes back decades, we have long allowed for attorney generals to appoint special counsels and to give them the money they need to investigate, and then if the facts call for it, bring a case. He talks about not just the specific statutes, but also the history of allowing special counsels and also our understanding, both our understanding based on case law and our understanding based on people who function in the Attorney General's office that would allow for this to happen. He is really trying to make Aileen Cannon look like a complete legal outlier here. Jessica, I want to bring in CBS News Justice Department reporter Robert Gary. Jessica, I'm going to let you keep going through this filing and you can flag our team you have something else you want to add.